I'm sure the guys on the field would rather play an 85 or 86 than 45 or 46.
No question about that, as Nico Horner takes the first pitch high, and away we go. Nico enjoyed a 3 RBI night last evening, leads the team with his 13 runs batted in. Luzardo's next pitch, line drive, and a backhanded catch by Turner at short. Turner to the shortstop, ranging over toward the hole, reached up and made a nice backhand catch of a hard hit ball. That's out number 1.
Right, Nico, he just hangs out 2 or 3 line drives every game, whether they're hits or not. But that's an absolute bullet. A great play by Turner to leap to his right and make a kind of a snow cone catch.
Alex Bregman will take the first pitch from Luzardo for a strike. Alex 4 for 9 in this series. He enjoyed a 3 RBI night last night also. And the pitch on the way to Bregman is low and inside. It's 1-1. Leadoff man presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If a Cubs leadoff hitter does get a base hit, Benny's Beverage Depot donates $200 to area service dog charities. Swing and a miss, 2-1. If you can't find it at Benny's, it's probably not worth drinking. Another big crowd. Some Cub fans here, but we've had large audiences, 37,000 plus last night, over 36 on Monday. Here is a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Bregman is out number 2.
That's that nasty slider down and in from Luzardo. He's got some great pitches. A good fastball that has movement. Off the fastball, though, that changeup, it can be a devastating pitch, and then a very good slider.
Seiya Suzuki hitting third in the order, bounces one to short. To his left, Turner, glove, spins, throws to first to get him. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jose Luzardo. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. This is The Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network. To left out of play. Shota Imanaga pitching for the Cubs tonight. No wins, 1 loss. Good ERA so far, 2.81. His last start against the Pirates run was dominant. He should have had a win, but no offensive support. Fly ball, left center field, deep. Back goes Carl Armstrong to the wall. Pete leaping up. And that ball is gone for a home run. Pete ran to the 409 sign just to the right of it, just to the left of dead center, made a leaping try, almost got a glove on it. I thought he possibly was going to make the catch, but it was just too high. And the Phillies lead 1-0. Yeah, it was quite a few feet over his glove, actually.
Yeah, this ball really well struck. It's a fastball, inner half, about mid-thigh. Shota wants to get that ball farther inside. Didn't get it there. And Turner hit that ball a long way.
Giving up the gopher balls was a major issue for Shota a year ago. Not so much this season, but it is 1-0 Phillies on the home run by Turner, his second of the year. And here's a guy who knows a lot about home runs, Kyle Schwarber. And he'll take a strike.
First inning is powered by Invesco QQQ. Let's rethink possibility. Invesco Distributors Incorporated.
Get all of the players wearing number 42 on their backs. And it's kind of a Dodger blue color 42 for both teams. 0-2 on Schwarber. Kyle had 2 homers in the opener on Monday night. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball low and away.
Feel like a Bosch prediction, brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Feel like a Bosch. I'm going to say in this ball game, that's not going to be the only home run. I think the Cubs are going to hit some bombs too. It is very hot here in Philly, and the ball is going to fly.
Schwarber takes outside. Shota got ahead of him 0-2, and now the count has gone to 2-2. Beautiful Citizens Bank Park. American flags above the fence way out in dead center, just to the left of dead center. Swing and a miss by Schwarber, and that's out number 1. Strikeout for Shota. 1-0 Phillies in the first, and the batter Bryce Harper. This park plays fair, I would say. Very few cheap home runs. And when it gets warm, the ball does carry quite well here.
Yeah, I would say when you start, like that ball that Turner hit went out right over the 409 mark, just to the left field side of straightaway center, the deepest part of the ballpark. And, well, to go 420, 425, right?
Probably. 401 to straightaway. Several different sections of fencing, and that comes into play in that area where Pete made the leaping try, as Harper hits a high fly ball deep right center. Drifting back is Shaw, and now Pete Crow Armstrong comes over and makes the catch on the edge of the warning track. My goodness, did that ball carry.
That ball really, it did. It got up above the stadium. That ball was hit a mile in the air and to the warning track. I mean, I didn't expect it to go even close to the track. Did you, as high as that ball was hit?
No, not at all. 2 down, a run in. Phillies lead 1-0. Here's Adolis Garcia. It's 330 down the line and right. 330 down the line and left. The wall is 12 feet high from the right field pole out to right center. 11 feet high in left out to left center. Bouncing ball wide of third, backhanded by Swanson. Off balance throw, and not in time. Amazing try by Dansby. He never set his feet. He made the running backhand stop in shallow left. As he was running toward the foul line, he cut loose a sidearm throw. If you don't think that's tough, go out in your yard and try that one a few times.
Yeah. Run full speed one direction and then throw the ball back behind you. And he threw a strike, a short hop to Michael Busch, but right on the bag, and it's a close play at first base. I didn't think he had any chance of even making it close.
It is a base hit for Garcia. Edmundo Sosa, the batter. 1-0 Phillies in the first with 2 down. Sosa takes inside. On that play as a shortstop, Dansby often will not even set the feet because he's running at a pretty good clip just to get to the ball. So for him to stop, he would have to take 2 or 3 steps. Yeah. So what he does, he just keeps running and then leans, turns his body to his left, and makes that awkward, difficult sidearm throw. And he puts kind of a loop in the throw, but it's about the only way you can make that play, Ron.
Yeah, no, it's pretty incredible. The way to get as much on the throw on that last one that he got was pretty good.
Edmundo Sosa waiting. Here's a pickoff throw, not in time.
Speed Gun today is powered by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that. So far, the two fastballs here in this at-bat to Sosa, 92 miles an hour from Imanaga.
Shota ready. Sosa had a 3-run homer last night. He fouls it away. Uniform descriptions we gave you, sponsored by Benjamin Moore. On the field or the walls of your home, the right team and colors make all the difference. Official paint of the Chicago Cubs, Benjamin Moore. Pat Kinane is our engineer at the controls. Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss on a changeup to end the inning. But the Phillies get a leadoff home run from Trey Turner. At the end of 1, Phil's 1, Cubs nothing on the score. And the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Live in the Chicagoland area?
Every other time would be good enough for me, Ron.
A hit every time. Oof.
Not the easiest thing to do in big league baseball.
No, I would agree. Yeah.
You would know, right?
Yeah.
Happ, Bush, and Swanson against the left-hander Luzardo. Leg kick and pitch. Big chop over the mound. The second baseman Sosa right behind the bag gloves it and throws out a hustling Happ, and that's out number 1. Luzardo has set down the first 4. Luzardo is a native of Lima, Peru. He's a big man, 6 feet tall, 218 pounds. This season, he's off to a little bit of a slow start. He's got a win and 2 losses and his ERA over 6. But a year ago, he really put together a fine campaign as Bush will take outside for a ball. He was second in the league in wins with 15. He struck out 216 men. That was second best in the league. Bush pulls a slow chopper to first. Harper will glove this one and shovel it to Luzardo. Score that one 3-1. 2 down, nobody on. 1-0 Phillies in the second inning, and the batter is Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, and so far this season, in his last start, he had 8 punch-outs. He was cruising along in the ball game for the first 4 innings. The 5th inning in his last start, he gave up 5 runs in the 5th, all earned, and that's why you see somewhat of the elevated ERA. But that was, 8 punch-outs. He's got an 11 punch-out game and an 8 punch-out game already here this season.
The 5 runs were scored by Arizona in a game here on April 10. He also struggled against Texas on March 28, so he's had 2 rough outings out of his 3 starts. acquired from Miami 3 days before Christmas in 2024. But this guy was 15-7 for a playoff team a year ago, the Phillies. Dansby Swanson swings and misses. He's one of those guys, Ron, even from way up here in the broadcast booth, you can see how much movement there is, late movement on almost every one of his pitches.
Yeah, that last slider down and into Dansby, nasty pitch.
Fastball high.
And then you rear back and throw the heater after the slider and great change at 98 miles an hour.
He was 15-7 for a good playoff-bound Philly team a year ago. 2-1 pitch. Dansby tried to launch one, came up empty. 2-2.
It's pretty good high gas there. Defensive alignment sponsored by Fitzgerald Equipment. Material handling handle. Learn more at FitzgeraldEquipment.com.
The 28-year-old Jesus Luzardo coming back 2-2. Line drive, shallow right center, base hit. Falling in between Marsh and Garcia. Cubs get their first hit, a 2-out single, opposite field by Dansby Swanson, and the batter is Miguel Amaya.
Well, when you face a guy with elite stuff like Luzardo and you start getting behind in the count, you better start thinking of using the other side of the diamond. That was a really good piece of hitting by Dansby to shoot that ball the other way.
Cut down your swing a little?
Yeah, you let the ball travel. You get just a little bit longer look at it.
Amaya pulls the ground ball to third. Bohm goes to second. There's the force. That's the inning. Cubs don't score. Leave one. Middle of inning number 2. Philadelphia 1, Cubs nothing on the score, and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Pete's Survivor Bundle Night. Fans who purchase tickets through Cubs.com/specials will receive an adventure wrap and a Cubs Survivor 50 hat. Don't miss this offer. Pat?
Now, is that sponsored by Pat Hughes with the jacket? I thought, when it gets cold, you have the big winter jacket that you wear, the Survival Bundle jacket.
I'll say yes. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Chopped foul up along first.
And if it's not, you could go for one?
When in doubt, say yes.
It's with us here today, right?
Yeah.
First pitch, by the way, 86 degrees here in Philadelphia.
JT Real Muto, 5 for 9 in this series. One of the better hitting catchers now and has been for about 10 years. Swings and fouls it back. That's a plus for your offense run. Having a catcher who homers, drives in runs, is a clutch hitter. He's hitting close to 280 or 290. Seems like all the time.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. This guy, the job he did last night, too, behind the plate, he's impressive.
There's a bouncer foul past third. We're watching video. They're going to play highlights of the late, great Jackie Robinson on the video board, I think, all night long. We just saw an old black and white film from, I'm guessing, a World Series game because it was the Yankees and the Brooklyn Dodgers. And Yogi Berra is catching, Whitey Ford is pitching, and Jackie stole home. And the Yankees put up a big argument thinking that he was out, but on the replay that I saw, he sure looked safe to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Yogi, it's a famous clip. Yogi catches the ball coming up and goes to put the tag on, but is not in front of home plate, and Jackie touches the front edge of the plate. And from years of getting to know Yogi Berra through the years of being a Yankee and going to Yankee Stadium all these years, people inevitably would ask him, "Yo, did you get him?" "You're dang right I got him."
Of course. Oh, of course.
He's still out.
Sure. Yogi, he was a beauty.
Unbelievable. Just a super human. I loved having conversations with Yogi.
1-2 pitch. Real Muto swings and misses, strike 3. One of Yogi Berra's quotes that I loved, he says, "The greatest thing in life is love, but baseball's pretty good too."
Yeah. Well,
that was him.
He would know. Every now and then he'd come to the ballpark at Yankee Stadium, and just to mess with Jeter, he'd wear all of his rings. All of his World Series rings, yeah. Sure. He had them on every finger. He's like, "Derek, yeah, you're doing pretty good, but you're not quite here."
Wow. What did he win? 12? 13?
Yeah, I think 11 or 12, right?
Here comes the 1-0 pitch now to Alec Bohm. And Bohm will take down low. But getting back to Jackie Robinson, I talked with Harry Carey many times, 20, 30 minutes about nothing but Jackie Robinson and baseball in the 1940s and 50s. And I said, "What was it like watching Jackie Robinson?" He said he was the only guy who could steal a base when everyone in the park knew that's exactly what he was going to do.
Isn't that something?
And there was no way you could stop him.
Yeah.
And Vin Scully.
Yeah, we've had the opportunity to listen to Vinny's stories.
Vinny was not there for the very beginning of Jackie's career. Jackie started in 1947. Vinny came along in 1950 as a broadcaster, so he saw the majority of Jackie's career. Fly ball to center, caught by Crow Armstrong, and that's out number 2. I had Zach look up the number of times that Jackie Robinson stole home in his career. And I was curious. Zach told me, and thanks, Zach, 19 times he stole home. Most guys have a big 0 in that category for their career. 19. And I was curious. I was asking Vinny, I said, "Vinny, were all of those the daring dash steal, or was he the back end of a double steal?" And he said, "Oh, no, all of them were the daring dash."
Oh, my.
All of them.
Here's the part I don't get. We were talking about this in between innings after we saw that clip of Whitey Ford throwing the pitch into Yogi and Jackie Robinson stealing home. But the thing to me that I asked you, I go, if you're Whitey, why in the world would you pitch from the windup and not just go from the stretch?
Well, that's a great question.
I'm like, you know he's going to go.
Brandon Marsh waits for the 1-1 from Shota, fouls it away. Phillies lead 1-0. Second inning on Jackie Robinson Day around the big leagues. All kinds of quotes attributable. Here's a good one from William Jefferson Clinton, former U.S. president, of course, about Jackie Robinson. "America is a stronger and better nation because of Jackie Robinson." I kind of like that. Ground ball to first, fielded by Bush. Underhand feed to Shota. Score that one 3-1. The Phillies go 1-2-3. We move on to inning number 3. 1-0 Phils on the score, and the Northwestern Medicine.
Isn't it crazy how the stars have fallen aligned? Oh, yeah. But can I be honest? I'm so afraid to fall too deep or float too high. 'Cause all of this chemistry, it caught me by surprise. Baby, won't you take your time with love me, love me. I promise, boy, that we'll be alright. I don't want the rush to get the best of me, best of me. It just makes me want you more and more. Call me Casanova. See the feelings on me. Trying to get to know ya. We can take the time, come and show me. Send the air aroma. I don't wanna try to make you rush. Call me Casanova. Just want you to love me. I want you standing right here next to me. No other way, that's how it's supposed to be. We've been going over time, I'm hoping I'ma leave all the doors wide open, oh yeah. But you wanna turn and walk away, go talk to me. That's all I wanna know. Call me Casanova. I'll give you the promise of love. Trying to get to know ya. I can give you the word, I can give you the word. Send the air aroma. 'Cause I don't wanna have to watch you go. Call me Casanova. Just want you to love me.
Citizens Bank Park. Zach Zaidman working alongside. Zach was nice enough to look up some information about Yogi Berra and his 1950 season. Here's a pitch outside for a ball. Amazing.
Yeah.
597 at-bats. 12 strikeouts.
12.
That's incredible. Swing and a miss by PCA. And the count now 1-2. And he did not go up there looking for walks, Ron. He was so aggressive. They tell me, and I did not ever see him play live. I saw some films of him. They say Yogi was the greatest bad ball hitter in history. I believe it. Here's the 1-2.
You know how the legends go and the stories get bigger and some of that stuff. But there were stories going when I was playing in New York. And, you know, guys would come in and talk about, you know, Yogi hitting. That he hit a home run to right on a pitch that bounced. That he clipped it right on the short hop and hit it out of the park to right field, right down the line.
On the schoolyard, we called that a drop kick.
Yeah, yeah. I just go, wow. I hit a hard enough time hitting a home run if the ball just stayed in the strike zone.
Swing and a miss. Crow Armstrong is out number 1. Luzardo with a couple of strikeouts. Here is Matt Shaw, 0-for-3 in the series. Cubs trail 1-0 in the third. But I would have loved to have watched both of those guys play. Jackie Robinson and Yogi Berra. I never got to see Mickey Mantle live.
Yeah, same, yeah.
Of course, Babe Ruth, that would have been a treat. And Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio, Ty Cobb. Legendary figures. And extraordinary performances. Nobody's hit 400 since Ted Williams in 1941. It's the same year Joe DiMaggio had the 56-game hitting streak.
Think of this. You hit 400 in the league for the Boston Red Sox, and you are not the most valuable player of the league.
Because the other guy hit safely in 56 in a row. And I'm guessing they won the pennant and your team did not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, but you just think of that. That's like, you know, that's such a historic number, hitting 400.
Absolutely. Now the 3-1 in there for a call strike.
Third innings brought to you by Consumers Credit Union. People in your corner, wherever you stand up. Let me try that again. People in your corner who stand up for you, wherever you go, Patrick.
Here comes the 3-2. A chopper foul.
Zach,
We'll
I
do
read
it
that one
again.
so well it had Pat speechless.
No matter where you go, what was the end of that again?
Well, that's what I was trying to get out and didn't do a very good job.
I
the first
thought you
time.
did a beautiful job.
Yeah, the
Sort
second and
of.
third time.
Did you say sort of?
I
Yeah,
did.
sort of. He dropped the sort of on me.
I had to. 3-2 pitch to Shaw is fouled away off to the right.
We're off and running tonight, folks. As this friend of mine once said, these are live broadcasts.
It's fun to be live, isn't it?
Yeah,
Here's the 3-2.
sort of.
Chopper foul, just sort of. Yeah, that's a good one. I have such a good time working with you and Zach and working for the Cubs and this unbelievable audience that we have.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure. Here's a drive to left center. On the run is Kemp. Left fielder can't get it. Up against the 387 sign. Shaw will motor into second with a one-out double. Let's see if that sparks a rally. Cubs trail by a run here in the third.
Good at bat for Matty. Got ahead, and then Luzardo zipped a heater on him on 3-1 inside. And then they go away, and Shaw, he stays right on this pitch. Excellent swing by Matty. And he pounds this ball to left center field. It one hops the 387 mark, so a double for Shaw.
Two-base hit. And now the first pitch to Horner is a ball. Doubles by Cubs batter, sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Reliable, comfortable, convenient. Southwest just makes sense. Let's see if Nico can drive in the tying run. We're in the third. Nico enjoyed a 3 RBI night last night. Leads the team in ribbies with 13. And he'll take a strike. And the count now 1-1.
We're coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth, proud partner of the Chicago Cubs.
We're going to play the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game as we move along. Nico hits a looper, shallow right center, falling in for a base hit. Shaw rounding third, heading home, and he will score as the throw comes in. Ball game tied at 1. Bloop opposite field RBI single for Nico Horner. Matt Shaw scores. Brand new ball game.
Well, here's the mark of good swings and good hitters. When a hitter gets jammed by a pitch and the pitch beats you inside, if you pull the ball, very bad. You end up breaking your bat, hooking something weak, usually a ground ball or a simple pop-up. If you hit the ball the other way when you get jammed, that's a mark of a very good swing. You stay inside the ball, and a mark of a guy that's probably going to hit around 300. And that's exactly what Nico did there. He got beat by that pitch in, but he shoots it the other way and ends up with a base hit and a ribby.
Nico 1 for 2, lined out his first time. That's baseball. You hit one really hard and you get out, then you bloop one and it falls in.
And get an RBI on top of it.
Game tied at 1 in the third. Bregman will take down low for a ball. Luzardo, 28 years old. Again, one of the elite pitchers in the league a year ago. 7th in the Cy Young voting. 15-game winner. Here's a toss to first, not in time. Well, there's a huge hole on the right side for Bregman. 90 feet between Harper, the first baseman, and Sosa, the second baseman.
It's like Nico was trying to time Luzardo. It wouldn't surprise me if you see Nico try to take off.
He's not going. The 1-1 is inside to Bregman. 2 balls and a strike.
I'll say this about Luzardo. That last fastball, that ball just explodes out of his hand. Oof.
Light's beginning to have an effect here in Philadelphia. The lighting is quite good. Now Bregman takes a strike. 2-2. One thing we've noticed about Bregman, he's a very patient hitter. He's in that category run of guys that don't seem to be bothered by having 2 strikes on.
Yeah. I think he goes up to the plate looking for certain pitches in certain zones, and until he gets to 2 strikes, he stays with his plan. And that's, speaking of plans, that's a really good one.
A run in, 1 down. Horner at first, one of the best base runners on the team. Harper holding him at first. Now the pitch to Bregman, fouled away off to the right. Cubs are off tomorrow. The Mets are at Wrigley for 3 over the weekend. All 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all begin at 1:20. Go to Cubs.com for ticket info. The Mets are struggling. They've lost 6 in a row. They play a late night game in L.A. against the Dodgers later on tonight. Let me correct that. They've lost 7 in a row. Late last night, Kyle Tucker, the former Cub, drove in the winning run with an 8th inning single for his new team, the Dodgers.
No score in that game. This game just underway is what it flashed on the board here in Philly. That doesn't seem right, though, does it?
Horner runs the pitch inside to Bregman, ball 4. Bregman, a very patient, disciplined plate appearance. He ends up getting the walk. Now you've got 2 men on base for Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, excellent AB. And now you need Seiya to do some damage here, and that'll bring out the pitching coach for Philly. And I think, you know, what you see is Luzardo, that trend of getting behind in the count. His stuff is too good for, you know, him to not be on the attack early in the at-bat.
Looking around baseball, and another note that caught my eye, former Cub Patrick Wisdom is back in the big leagues.
There we go.
He's been playing AAA ball, hit 9 homers early in the year, and called up to the Seattle Mariners.
Good for him.
Caleb Cotham is the pitching coach for the Phillies. Walks to Cubs batters are a very positive thing for the offense. It increases a scoring opportunity. And here it is. They also are sponsored by It'sNotAGameIllinois.com. Remember, a walk is free. A DUI is not. Drive sober or get pulled over. I just had to think of something to say before I found that copy to read. 2 men on, 1 away. The pitch to Seiya. Oh, he wanted to swing at that one. He let it go. It's a strike.
First pitch heater, that one knee high, and a lot of the plate. This one kind of splits the plate.
Runners take their leads. Luzardo's pitch. Seiya takes a bender for a strike. He checked his swing, couldn't pull the trigger.
That's a hard slider that he throws. That's starts out away and comes back to the outer third of the strike zone.
Here's a drive fouled off to the right out of play. I'm going to go ahead and start the guesses in the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. 38,083. 38083. Horner at second, Bregman at first. They've got their leads. And now Seiya takes high for a ball. Let's see what the pitch count of Luzardo's up to. 45 after 2 1/3 innings. So at that pace, he'll only be able to go 5 or 6.
Well, and that's the part that, for pitching coaches and the manager, this guy's got too good an arm to not be going on the attack against the hitters right away.
The runners go, and a pitch high. They'll never get him. That's a wild throw going down the left field line. And the ball bounces away, and now Nigo's going to score. Bregman goes to third. He's safe there. Cubs lead 2-1. Double steal. Wild throw by the catcher, Real Muto. Nigo was not going to run until he saw the ball bobbled by the backup man, Turner, the shortstop, in shallow left. Only then did Nigo race to the plate and score the go-ahead run. And alertly, Bregman motored into third. What a play.
Boy, an odd play as Turner thinks he dives for this ball in the outfield grass. Once the ball gets past Bohm, and then thinks he has it in his glove, but it actually goes behind him by about 10 feet. He did not know it. Nico did, and he took the base and scores the run. That's going to be stolen bases for both guys, and then E6 on the shortstop once he had the ball in the outfield grass.
Seiya with an RBI opportunity. Here's a wild pitch, and coming in to score is Bregman. And the Cubs have scored another run, and they lead 3-1. The pitch almost hit Seiya. He's glad it didn't, because it got by Real Muto. Yeah. And scoring from third is Bregman. Crazy inning. What a good inning for the Cubs. 2 miscues by the Phillies. And now it is a 3-1 Cubs lead. And strike 3 to Suzuki.
Another slider down and in. That was a nasty pitch. Seiya didn't come too close to that one. Stolen bases by the Cubs. Got 2 stolen bases on that play. Stolen bases at Kids are powered by Turo Tire, Chicago's hometown tire. Find a dealer at Turo.com.
2 outs in the inning. Opposing errors. Those are sponsored by North Shore Adult Diapers.
Yes, they are.
Or even, I beg your pardon, for even the heaviest control problems, visit NorthShore.com. Nice to have North Shore Adult Diapers back. We are a return sponsor. Happy to have them here. Here is the windup and the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Happ is out on strikes, but it's a prosperous third inning in which the Cubs score 3 runs. They had a couple of hits. They had 2 stolen bases, and there were a couple of errors, and 1 left. None left, actually. We go to the bottom of the third. Cubs 3, Phillies 1. Imanaga with the lead for the very first time. This is always a big inning now, Ron, after your team has given you the lead, to try to slam the door on the opposition and maintain that lead for the rest of your time in the game. Otto Kemp leads it off, bounces one to third toward foul territory.
I think the key to the Cubs' last inning, and the reason why there was a meeting on the mound, that it turned out to not be a very good one because the Cubs scored 2 more runs after the meeting, was the lack of aggressiveness by Luzardo pitching behind in the count.
Shota working with the lead for the very first time. Takes his windup and his pitch outside. 2-1 to Otto Kemp. Trey Turner on deck, and then Kyle Schwarber here in the third. Fastball is high, 3-1. These Phillies are going to be at Wrigley starting next Monday night. 4 straight games against the Phils. 3 night games and then a day game next Thursday. 7 games in a 10-game stretch between the two teams. You get very familiar with each other in those sequences, Ron.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, just a very odd part of the scheduling, and you just will be done with the Phillies here in April.
Here's the pitch on the way to Kemp. Fly ball, left center, playable. Pete Crow Armstrong is there. He's got it. 1 down, bottom of the third. Otto Kemp, the batter. We're going to play the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. I've made my pick.
I will make mine 37,700.
Okay. Zach Zaidman's going to chime in here shortly. Trey Turner swings and misses. Turner homered for the Phillies' only run, leading off the bottom of the first inning. The 5'8" left-hander Shota Imanaga fires. Swing and a miss. Nice splitter. Off-speed pitch 0-2. What do you like here, Ron?
You could probably go at that fastball inside. He's gone first 2 pitches of the at-bat. Both splitters, Turner's been way out in front of him. You could also just throw the splitter one more time and see if you get a punch out.
And the 0-2 is low for a ball.
Another splitter, 3 in a row.
I'll make my guess in the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. I'll go 38,500.
Had some great audiences here, right in that same neighborhood. 36,000 and 37, respectively, the last 2 nights. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Turner is out number 2. Shota notching his 4th strikeout of the game. Strikeouts by Cubs pitchers brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Cubs leading 3-1, and the batter is Kyle Schwarber.
After you throw 3 splits in a row to Turner, he gassed him the top of the zone with a good heater, and Turner way tardy on that fastball.
2 outs, nobody on. Would a slugger run be slightly more inclined to think about a long ball in this spot?
I would think Schwarbs is always looking to hit a homer. I think in these situations, he's looking to hit one really far.
So that's a yes.
Yeah, it's 100% yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Outside, 1-1 on Schwarber. He's got 6 already this year. 12 RBIs. Very likable man, Kyle Schwarber. Swing and a miss, and the count now 1-2.
Yeah, that's 16 team, and the guys, that just after that season, one of the great guys that's been playing in Major League Baseball, and you're happy for his success, that's for sure.
Here comes the 1-2. Check swing, it's outside. 2-2.
I'd prefer for his success to be in about another week and a half.
Sure.
After he leaves Wrigley Field, but I guarantee you the fans in Wrigley will give him a huge ovation.
2-2 fouled away. He does generate tremendous bat speed with his swings. It's almost like he's got very strong hands and great upper body strength in general. The bat looks like a toothpick the way he swings it. All right, maybe a little bigger than a toothpick. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Shota strikes out Schwarber for the 2nd time. He's got 5 in the game. We go to inning number 4. Cubs 3, Phillies 1 on the score on the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
stood before me in that same dress. I reach for you there just to feel something less. Will you try and find me on the other side and tell me that everything will be alright? I am shattered glass. Don't come too close too fast. Shine like a saint.
2, Yankees 1, Angels nothing. Aaron Judge, home run number 7. Top 2, Marlins and Braves are scoreless in Atlanta.
Here's a pitch, bounce to the right side. Sosa ranging over, gloves it, spins around and throws to first in time. Bush bounces out, 4-3, one away. Swanson, the batter, Zach.
And a few games about to get started. White Sox hosting the Rays on the south side. The Brewers are home against the Blue Jays. Rockies visiting Houston to take on the Astros. And much later on tonight, Padres home against the Mariners. The Rangers visiting the A's. The Dodgers hosting the Mets.
Foul drive by Swanson, off to the right, out of play. Anything else, Zach?
In that game in Los Angeles, Shohei Ohtani will be facing the Mets as a pitcher for the first time in his career.
Here's a chopper toward third, gloving at his Bohm, and he'll gun it to first in time. So the Mets have lost 7 in a row. You know you're in the big leagues when you're trying to snap that skid against a guy who throws about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Go get him. The best player in baseball, and you're in his home ballpark in front of probably 55,000 in Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Dodgers beat the Mets last night 2-1 in a squeaker. Cubs will be out in L.A. before the end of the month. Looking at some notes around the league, Milwaukee's Christian Yelich will be out for a full month with an abductor sprain in his left hamstring. Fly ball shallow right, racing in. Garcia makes the catch to end the inning. Cubs go quietly. We move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Cubs 3, Phillies 1 on the score, and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network. There's a strike. Adolis Garcia, and then Edmundo Sosa to follow. I was reading about the Angels' 7-1 win at Yankee Stadium last night. The Yankees, by the way, have lost 6 of 7. But the Angels run, now here's something you don't see in big league ball very often. Against Ryan Weathers, the Angels had 3 home runs in a 5-pitch span in the first inning.
How about that?
Home runs by Mike Trout, Joe Adell, and Jorge Soler came within a span of just 5 pitches. That's frightening.
Yeah, that's when you got to mix up a different pitch. Bounce a few.
Or maybe brush somebody back.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Here comes the 0-2 to Bryce Harper. And he'll hit a fly ball foul off to the left and out of play. And in kind of a scary story, did you read about Baltimore manager Craig, is it Albernaz? He was sitting in the dugout and drilled by a foul ball in the side of the face.
Oh.
And he suffered a bruise on the right side of his face and several fractures. And he's back in the dugout. He's going to be okay, I think. But how frightening. Yeah. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Good breaking ball. That's one of the best pitches that Shota has snapped off tonight. He strikes out Bryce Harper. One away, and the batter, Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, you know when Shota's going really good, when his breaking ball looks really sharp, that means his arm strength and everything is working good mechanically, and that breaking ball just has great bite to it down and away from the left-handed hitter.
Garcia will take high for a ball. But Craig Albernaz's run had to have some immediate surgery after getting hit in the dugout. Here's a manager just, trying to run a big league ball game, and he got nailed. He says he's going to be okay, but he said, unfortunately, I can't blow my nose for 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's when you break. Have you ever broke your nose? I got hit with a ball in the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Broke my nose and cheekbones.
I have, yeah. 2 elbows playing basketball. Yep.
That is not. Once you get over the break and all that stuff, then you got to keep that gauze and all that in your nose. That's pretty miserable.
Swing and a miss by Adolis Garcia, and the count is 1-2. A lot of cartilage, a lot of tiny little bones in there. Here comes the windup now, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Inside for a ball. But when you're a little guard in basketball and you like to get rebounds, you're going to get drilled.
Yeah, you're going to wear it every now and then.
Now the 2-2. Cubs lead by 2. Fly ball, well hit, left center, going back. Pete Crow Armstrong near the wall. It's off the wall and bouncing away, and Garcia will have a double. A line smash out near the 409 sign. Well, that got to the wall in a hurry. No chance for Pete to make the catch.
Yeah, that ball very well struck. Pete goes for the catch, and then as he's getting close to the wall, he realizes he's not going to be able to catch up with it. It hits the wall. But he does a good job of keeping this ball. He knocks it down somewhat and keeps Garcia to a double. First out in this inning was sponsored by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that.
Edmundo Sosa, the batter. Sosa struck out his first time. Swings at a splitter, 0-1. The Phillies got a run on the leadoff home run by Trey Turner in the first. They have not scored since. We are in the fourth with 1 away and a man at second. Imanaga to Sosa. Swing and a miss. He's got him 0-2 run. What pitch is on your mind?
You got a couple options. You can go with that fastball inside. That's always a good pitch. Or you go right back to that split once again. That's never a bad option. See, this Sosa's a pretty valuable guy. He's got some pop, plays all the infield positions.
Time call.
That's going to be a pitch clock violation, yeah.
The pitch came in too late. Yeah. So it's a ball. The count instead of 0-2 now is 1-2. That's one of the few times we've seen that call being put into motion.
Yeah, I would agree. I did not anticipate. I was not looking at the pitch clock, actually.
Shota glances back at the runner, and the 1-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him on a splitter. 2 down. Shota has struck out 7 in the game, including 4 of the last 5 hitters he's faced. And now the batter is JT Realmuto with Garcia at second and 2 down.
Yeah, he's got a great split tonight, that's for sure. He is command of the fastball and that split are just two. That's just a great combination.
The left-hander glancing back at the runner. And the pitch to Realmuto is inside for a ball. Cubs are home on Friday afternoon against the New York Mets. A 1:20 ball game. 1:20 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go to Cubs.com. Swing and a miss. He's got a real good splitter working in the early going tonight.
Well, I think what happens is he established that fastball early enough, and he's got good velocity on the heater and great arm action. When you have a great split, it's the arm action. The hitter sees fastball out of the hand, and that ball just backs up on him.
The 1-1 is fouled away. Looks like a fastball there. I think he's going to come back with a split right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been watching him tonight with that split finger, and it's very difficult. From our vantage point, I can't tell the difference between fastball and split, and that's really a good thing because the hitter can't see that, and it just, you react and think fastball, and you're just way out front.
Here comes the 1-2 from Shota. Swinging a foul back. Looks like he challenged him with a fastball that time.
Yeah, back-to-back heaters, and Realmuto tardy on both of them.
Would that mean that possibly he's kind of looking for that splitter?
Yeah, it's in the back of his mind, there's no doubt. He's just hoping to foul that fastball off in hopes that he gets a splitter up in the zone.
Now the 1-2. Down low, came back with a split.
That tells me that last one that he took, that tells you that he is looking for the split. Because that was the perfect split finger. In the zone, in the zone, in the zone, out of the zone.
You got first base open.
This should be gas inside. See if they go in under his elbow.
And the 2-2. Breaking ball.
Slider inside, yeah.
Realmuto, a tough guy to fan. He's one of those guys, he's not a huge slugger. He's got home run power occasionally, but he's very much a contact hitter. And he rarely gets fooled badly on too many pitches. He's hitting .286. Here comes the 2-2. From Shota. Fly ball, center field, well hit, playable. Backpedaling near the track is PCA. He's got it. And the inning is over. Phillies don't score. We go to the 5th inning. Zach joins Ron in a moment. At the end of 4, Cubs 3.
lifting a burden that I've carried for so long, and 10,000 mountains weighing on my soul. I can't remember when my shame had picked it up, but one thing I know, I've never walked alone. No. 'Cause you're faithful to the end.
Off shot by Trey Turner off Shota Imanaga. The Cubs rallied for 3 in the third. Luzardo works his motion and starts off Crow Armstrong with a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. It's a wild third inning. Nico Horner with an RBI single to tie the game up. Luzardo deals. Crow Armstrong dribbles it foul behind the plate in the hole, 0-2. Then things got interesting. Cubs had men at first and second. A double steal. And JT Realmuto, errant throw to third. It squirted into shallow left. And then in shallow left, Trey Turner had difficulty picking up the ball, so Horner scored the go-ahead run. And moments later, Bregman added some insurance, scoring on a wild pitch. The next pitch to Crow Armstrong is low, 1-2 the count. That was a changeup from Luzardo. Initially, they gave the shortstop Turner an error on that play, and then they changed it. The pitch. Crow Armstrong lines one over the head of Sosa, base hit in a right center field. So a leadoff single here in the fifth for Crow Armstrong and the Cubs. It'll bring up Matt Shaw. Yeah, Realmuto ended up getting the error on the play that allowed Horner to score the go-ahead run in the third.
I don't understand that. The ball was, you have a stolen base. The ball's sitting in the outfield. Turner has control of it, and then it flies out of his glove. He'll have to take another look at that. That doesn't make much sense.
Matt Shaw at the plate, and he looks at a breaking ball low, 1-0 the count. Shaw doubled his first time up.
Doesn't matter, though. Cubs scored the runs.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
And the Cubs have the lead 3-1 here with no one out in the fifth. Crow Armstrong at first. The pitch. Shaw looks at a strike, a sinking fastball clocked at 96 miles per hour, 1-1.
Just wanted to say, too, before we get too far away, great at bat by Pete. He really hung in there against a really good lefty. You know, he fouled the fastball off inside and then got the pitch down and away and stayed on it long enough to dump it into right field over Sosa's head. Very nice job by Pete to hang in there against Luzardo.
He extends his lead off first base. Luzardo, another throw to first. Crow Armstrong gets back, so that's 2 throws over to first by Luzardo. Bohm playing wide of the bag at third and in on the edge of the infield grass. Crow Armstrong goes, the pitch up high, the throw to second is in time, dug out beautifully by Sosa, who applied the tag on PCA. And that'll be caught stealing 2-4. Are the Cubs going to challenge this? They're saying, hold on here. Let's wait and see what council decides. Nope,
Yeah.
They will not challenge, and PCA is caught stealing.
Well, they kind of, so the second throw to first, and then Pete's going to go because you know he's not going to throw to first, but Luzardo kind of quick pitched him a little bit. And, you know, the whole setup was a pitch, a really good pitch to throw on for Realmuto, and they throw him out by a good step at second base.
So 1 down, 2-1 the count on Shaw. Luzardo faces home plate. He winds and deals. Line drive down the left field line. This will drop in fair and roll all the way to the corner. Shaw digging for second. He'll get there standing up. Second double of the night for Matt Shaw. And he's in scoring position with 1 away here in the fifth.
Yeah, Matty led off, or actually, he got hit a double in the third. It was already an out in that inning. But he scored in the third with 1 out. See if Cubs can do that again. He got knocked in by the guy at the plate, Nico Horner.
Who's as hot as they come. Nico had 2 hits and drove in 3 last night. And he's 1 for 2 tonight with an RBI. The pitch. Horner swings, and it's a high fly ball deep left center field, racing over Kemp at the track near the wall. It's gone! Nico Horner leaves the yard. Two-run home run, and the Cubs add on to their lead. 5-1 over the Phillies here in the fifth.
I don't know if you could be any hotter than Nico Horner. You put men out there on the bases, and he's driving them in. He just elevates. I mean, he's swinging great, but it's like he even finds another gear with men in scoring position. He gets this heater in the middle of the plate, knee high, and hammers it over the 387 mark.
It was not a cheapie, a 400-foot blast by Nico Horner. Alex Bregman at the plate and looks at a sinking fastball low, 1-0. And you are so right about Nico.
Fun to watch.
Luzardo delivers. Bregman looks at a strike, a slow-moving breaking ball that floats into the zone, 1-1.
3 RBI games back-to-back, as our partner would say. That never goes out of style.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Nico now hitting 319 on the year. The pitch. Inside to Bregman. 2-1. Bregman is 0 for 1 with a walk. Right-handed batter. Stands deep in the box. Luzardo, the lefty, deals. That one's low and inside. It's a 3-1 count. But the addition to Horner's game this season, Coom, has been the extra pop that we've seen early in the year.
Extra base hits. You don't have to hit home runs, but extra base hits, they score runs quickly. Obviously home runs do, but for Nico, right now he is in one of them grooves where he's hitting the ball so hard, even when he hits it on the line, the outfielders, he's getting the extra base hits. His swing is so good, he's dumping balls in on that inside-out swing when he gets beat by the fastball inside.
Bregman, it's a line drive, base hit to left, fielded on a high hop by Kemp. And the hit parade continues. The Cubs now with 4 hits in this fifth inning.
Yeah, the only out made was the caught stealing by Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah. So here comes Seiya Suzuki. Cubs with a 5-1 lead, just 1 down here in the top of the fifth. Nico Horner now with 2 home runs on the year and 16 RBIs to go along with that 319 average. The pitch to Seiya is whacked into right center field, a base hit. On his way to third base, Bregman, as Marsh quickly cuts that one off and gets it back to the infield. But the Cubs continue 5 consecutive hits. And they've got men at the corners with just 1 away. And cleanup man Ian Happ due up. First, though, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Covering the Cubs and all of Chicago's teams on the score. Middays.
Chicagoland's appliance leader, Grand Appliance. Get your all-star Frigidaire kitchen today at grandappliance.com. And every one of these balls that's been hit have been bullets in this inning.
Time called. Pitching coach Caleb Cotham out to the mound. Let's talk a little bit about Seiya, who has struggled at the plate since coming off the injured list. Entered play hitting at 211 with no home runs and 1 RBI. It's always a good sign when you're going the other way.
Yeah, when you see him let the ball carry a little bit and use the right center gap, that means all of a sudden his timing's starting to get good and good things are going to happen. To me, and when you think about it, you're midway through the World Baseball Classic, you get hurt, and now you don't get much spring training, so you're behind. And that's kind of what happens when you get behind a little bit. And you're going to start out slow, but he'll be just fine.
Men at the corners for the Cubs. Ian Happ at the plate, switch hitter, batting from the right side. And he looks at a changeup high and outside. 1-0 the count. Cubs have already scored 2 runs in this frame on a 400-foot home run to left center by Nico Horner. The pitch inside.
Good take by Ian. That's a pitch, with men in scoring position, men at third in particular, with 1 out. They want you to swing at that ball and hook it at the third baseman. He didn't fall into the trap and took it.
Luzardo delivers. Breaking ball swung on and missed. May have been a change. 2-1.
Coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth, proud partner of the Chicago Cubs.
Bregman's at third, Suzuki at first. One away. Happ at the plate, a 2-1 count. The pitch. Ball strike on the outside edge, a changeup.
Surprised Ian didn't challenge that one. Maybe he thought it was a strike. And it was off the plate away, you know? These are those situations with men in scoring position. You know, you can challenge possibly.
Happ looks at another changeup. This one low, and he's worked a full count. So 3 straight changes from Luzardo.
Well, he's gotten his fastball hit in this inning, and same thing with the slider. And he has an excellent changeup. He's got 3 A-plus pitches. But no matter what you have, if you throw it in the middle of the plate, guys are going to whack it.
Now the payoff pitch. Foul back. Went with the fastball, 99 miles per hour. Count remains 3-2. There's a high fastball. There is activity in the Phillies bullpen.
I mean, his pitch count's at 82 already.
A bouncing ball hit to third, fielded by Bohm to second for 1. Sosa to first. It is in time. Double play. As the Phillies go around the horn to end the threat. But the Cubs score 2 more runs on the long 2-run shot by Nico Horner. Middle 5, 5-1 Cubs on the score in the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network. Take a piece out of Shota, or did Imanaga just spin out of the way to avoid getting hit before that hit the ground?
If it hit him, it didn't hit him hard because it came sizzling to Nico. But he did a pretty good dance move to get out of the way of that line drive about knee high. I mean, this is smoke. Oh, maybe it did catch him a little bit in the calf of his landing. I think it was his landing foot, so it would have been his right foot or right leg. But he right away gave thumbs up to the dugout that he was okay.
After the cool little maneuver to get out of the way, Brandon Marsh at the plate. A big rip and a miss at a sinking fastball from Shota. 0-1.
Assists for him aren't that big a deal. Just get out of the way. We don't want to get hit with that line drive back the middle.
So one down. Marsh waits for the 0-1. Cubs up 5-1 here in the fifth. The pitch. A breaking ball that clips the outside edge of the plate. That's a strike. 0-2. Right near the bottom of the zone. The first out, sponsored by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that. Here's the 0-2. Marsh swings and misses. Strike three. Imanaga gets him with a fastball. That's 8 strikeouts tonight for Shota.
That's just great location on pitches. The slider down and away, as you called, to Marsh for strike 2. Marsh thought was borderline, and it was. And then you gas him up and in with a heater, and Marsh way late on that last fastball.
Here's Otto Kemp, right-handed batter, 2 away, bottom 5, Cubs up 5-1. The pitch. He's low and inside. Naga misses with a fastball. We've talked about it from the get-go. It's the command of the fastball that makes Shota such a special pitcher. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss out in front of a splitter. 1-1. Kemp, the left fielder, flied out to center his first time up. Imanaga is ready. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. As Shota doubles up on the splitter.
Kemp way out in front of that last split.
He's clocked at 84 miles per hour. Imanaga peers in, acknowledges he's catcher Amaya. And now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with the splitter. That is strikeout number 9 on the night for Imanaga as the Phillies go down in order. After 5, Cubs 5, Phillies 1 on the Score, the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Cubs talk to start your day. Mully and Haw, mornings 5:30 to 10 on one.
And Michael Busch will lead off this sixth inning. And he will foul away the first pitch from Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo on the ropes in that fifth inning, able to get out of it by inducing Ian Happ to bounce into an inning-ending double play. It looked like he was very close to coming out of the game to me, Ron.
Yeah, and pitch count's been climbing. He didn't have good command in the zone. They're going to challenge this pitch. And it's a ball just off the plate away.
The pitch is a ball. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike. The Phillies have 1 challenge remaining.
ABS Challenge Instant Replays. That ball strike challenge is sponsored by Northwestern Medicine.
Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire. Now lefty to lefty. Here's a foul at the plate off the bat of Michael Busch.
And let's see what's on tap here in the sixth inning, sponsored by Flight by Yingling, Next Generation Light Beer. And wish he just fouled that one off his leg. But how about once again tonight, and what's on tap? Cubs' first 5 innings of this ball game, 5 runs on 8 hits again. So the offense last few nights been really doing a pretty good job.
Against a quality pitcher, I might add. Here's a pitch outside to Michael Busch. Luzardo, a 15-game winner a year ago, 7th in the Cy Young voting in the league.
That Cubs knocked out or ran out of the game yesterday, Aaron Nola, in 5 innings. Got his pitch count up and did a nice job against him.
Here's a little nubber past the mound, charging the second baseman. Sosa gloves it and shovels it without touching it barehanded to first. Good play for the first out here in the 6th inning. You got to practice that a lot to be able to shovel the ball and get any accuracy with the toss.
Remember when we were kids, you'd get in a circle and everybody had their glove and a ball, and you'd play that flip game where you couldn't touch the ball with your hand, you had to flip it with the glove? That's where that play comes from, right? I remember doing that a lot when we were younger, playing ball.
It is convenient if you feel confident doing it, never touching the ball with your bare hand. Yep. Here's a base hit to left. Dansby, a sharp ground ball past a diving third baseman Bohm. It's quicker. You know, you get it in your glove, you just flip it, and if you have accuracy, you can make the play a lot more efficiently.
Well, and you think that play, you're running full speed basically, and you're feeling the ball on the run to get the transfer and to get it. You know, I mean, you only got another step before the runner's going to be safe at first. It's actually a really nice play by Sosa.
Base hit by Dansby. Here's Miguel Amaya taking way outside. 82 pitches now for Luzardo. Let me correct that. 92 pitches. And I would not think they would let him go much beyond 100. I do see some bullpen activity for the Phillies as Amaya takes a strike and they count 1-1.
I thought if he didn't get Ian out in that double play ball, he would have been out of the game.
Cubs had 5 straight hits against him. Here's a line drive over the head of the second baseman Sosa. Soft line drive, jogging to second as Swanson. And let's see if that spells the end of the line for Jesus Luzardo. It might.
This little off-speed pitch running away from Amaya, and he just hits it off the end of the bat, but just muscles this ball out over Sosa's head at second base.
I was watching Sosa around. He was going back, didn't know exactly which way to turn, and we've all been there. If you've been a middle infielder, it's a very awkward feeling. Do I go left? Do I go right? And then you end up just doing nothing and not making the play. Ground ball right side toward the hole. Base hit right field. Rounding third and holding is Swanson. It's a base hit for Pete Crow Armstrong, his second. 3 straight singles. Nobody really tearing the cover off the ball, but they all count. And now let's see if that's the end of the game for Luzardo. Apparently not. Nat Shaw coming up, Cubs leading. And they have a chance to break the game wide open right about now. Cubs on top 5-1, have the bases loaded with 1 away in this 6th inning. Infield in. Shaw 2 for 2. takes low and inside, and Shaw has looked confident and competent in this game, Ron, with a pair of doubles from that number 9 spot.
Yeah, and bullets. One hopper to that 387 mark in left center, and then a rocket down the left field line.
Bases full of Cubs here in this 6th inning. Infield in from the stretch. Luzardo fires. There's a strike.
They're going to try to get Matty Pat to hook that ground ball like last inning. That off-speed pitch, hook it to Bohm at third, and they can possibly turn a pair. Second baseman is playing in a spot where he can do both, throw home or the other way.
Line drive fair down the right field line, base hit. It'll drive into a sliding stop out there by Garcia. Pete Crow Armstrong stopping at third. 2-run double. Matt Shaw. Cubs now with a 7-1 lead. That's a big one.
How about Matty Shaw's third double of the game today? And that'll bring out Robbie Thompson, and that's going to be the end of the day for Luzardo. But, boy, the Cubs just putting on the hitting shoes these last 2 days, and this is a great piece of hitting by Shaw. This ball's down and away, and he just goes with it. He's hit a double to left field line, left center, and the right field line in this game.
Garcia tried a sliding stop. It looked like he landed on the ball with his right hip, which is never a good feeling, by the way. And 2-run score on the play. Cubs at second and third. Cubs with a lead of 7-1, trying to win this series. And this pitching change by the opposition is sponsored by James Hardy Building Products. Let me correct that. Pitching change sponsored by Sloan. Also a good sponsor, the official water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs and leader in smart water and commercial restroom solutions. Learn more at Sloan.com. A lefty coming in. We'll step out for a station break. Cubs lead 7-1 on the Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Cubs fans, it's Dancy Swanson. Listen to every game here.
Third, 2 runs in, Cubs on top 7-1. Kyle Backus, the left-hander, is set. The pitch outside. Backus has an odd set position run, a stiff front leg. It looks like it would be awkward and somewhat uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's got like the kickstand thing going, and then tall, leans, feet spread wide apart. Again, just a very awkward kind of delivery.
Nico takes low and in, 2 balls and a strike. Cubs 12 hits against Luzardo in 5 1/3 innings. That's not going to happen very often. 2-1 pitch is a strike. Yeah. And whenever you play a team in their park and then the next week you play in your park, you're going to see the exact same guy.
Yeah, that's right.
So tentatively he would be ready to pitch next probably Tuesday at Wrigley.
And that's a 4-game series, right, against the Phillies?
It is. Yep. Base hit down the right field line. This is going to drive in 2 more runs. The throw to the plate is going to be late. Sliding in. Matt Shaw, 2-run single. Nico Horner. He is becoming an RBI machine. 5 RBIs in this game. He leads the team with 18 for the year. And he's got a cool 3-for-4 night going run, and all he needs is the triple for a cycle.
And this is definitely a triples type of ballpark. So it has been some kind of night for Nico and the Cubs offense. 9-1 now, Cubs.
He gets a single. I think I jumped the gun. He had a single earlier and a home run, so he still needs a double and a triple. But the Cubs on top 9-1, and it got very quiet here at Citizens Bank Park. The 0-1 pitch taken outside by Alex Bregman.
Yeah, that ball down the line, we were kind of giving him a double, weren't we?
I was.
Yeah.
In my head, I said two-bagger. Absolutely. And now the 1-1. That's going to be a strike.
What you think of the balls that he's hit today? He lined out at a bullet at Turner at short, singled with a line drive in the third, 2-run homer in the fifth, and now a bullet down the right field line here in the sixth.
A 5 RBI game for your leadoff hitter. That doesn't happen all that often.
What's he going to do when he gets hot?
He's probably hitting about 330, 340. He's had 8 RBIs in these last 2 games. Swing and a miss by Bregman. And that's going to be a strikeout and the second out in the inning. But Ron, when your team is struggling a little bit, you look for leaders. You look for your team leaders to lift you up, to have big performances and help you get out of that slump. It's always been that way.
Absolutely. And you play very good teams, and you need your star players to play like it. And Nico is playing like it.
Seiya Suzuki takes outside for a ball.
This should be a great matchup for Suzuki.
Nico signed that contract extension recently. Good for him and good for the Chicago Cubs.
No doubt about it.
Here comes the 1-0. And Seiya takes a strike. You played with guys. In fact, you were probably this guy that I'm going to talk about. There are certain guys, Ron, you could give them a 10-year contract. They would not change their approach. They'd go all out. They'd be ready. They hustle. They'd have their head in the game. I don't think you can give that length of a contract to every single player. Nico, you certainly could.
Yeah, he definitely fits that mold. And to me, you look at certain guys, and they're ball players. He fits that, to the T, where he just every single day, no matter what the game situation is, there's only one speed and one way he plays, and that's it. And you love seeing it. And the Cubs got quite a few guys like that, but he really stands out as that kind of guy. And you're right. You see no difference in his play no matter what his situation is.
Suzuki will check his swing. That's going to be strike 3. Suzuki's going to challenge that call. He thought it was inside. And we're going to delay before we call that a strike. Cubs are challenging on the automated ball strike system, and it's inside. Good for you, Seiya. So Suzuki's still up there.
Yep, that ABS challenges and instant replays, that ball strike challenge, sponsored by Northwestern Medicine. Second one of the inning.
Seiya 1 for 3. Cubs with 13 hits in the first 6 innings against a quality starter in Luzardo. Now Backus delivers, and the pitch fouled away. Cubs had a tough time at Wrigley over the weekend, had to rally to salvage the Sunday game and avoid being swept. They lost a tough one in the opener here in a slugfest. Here's a looper and a shallow right, another base hit. Nico racing around second, going to third. Seiya Suzuki getting his second base hit. Everything falling in right now for the Cubs.
Yeah, the balls hit harder going, down the lines and in the gaps. The balls hit softer going over the infielders' heads. It's just, for the Cubs offense, it's their night tonight. There's no doubt about that. I think that's their 14th hit of the ball game.
Runners at first and third. Now Ian Happ looking at a pitch off the inside corner. The 5 RBIs for Nico. We understand a career high. Thanks to Zach Zaidman for tracking that down. Here's a deep drive to left down the line, curling and going foul.
He hit that ball a ton, just hooked it. Missed the foul pole by about 10, 15 feet.
Happ is the cleanup hitter for the Cubs in this game. Cubs cleanup hitters, by the way, sponsored by Chicago's appliance leader, Grand Appliance. Get your all-star Frigidaire kitchen today at grandappliance.com. And the pitch to Ian fouled away down the right field line and out of play. A lot of long half innings when the Cubs have been batting. It's one of those games where the Cubs have been on offense about 80% of the time in this game. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Now the 1-2, low and inside, strike 3 called, actually a delayed call by Bruce Dreckman. Inning over, but another good inning for the Cubs. They score 4, and in the middle of inning number 6, it's the Cubs 9 and the Phillies 1. On The Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network. Trey Turner in the first inning and nothing since. In fact, only 2 hits since then. Turner leads off this 6th inning and takes outside. On the corner for a strike. 0-1 the next offering. A little bit low and they count 1-1. Cubs are off tomorrow. The Mets will be at Wrigley on Friday afternoon. And now the 1-1 on the way. Off-speed pitch taken high for a ball. Cubs with a 7-game homestand. We're all looking forward to that. 3 against the Mets, 4 against these Phillies. And the 2-1, low and inside for a ball.
Just looking at the weather of Wrigley, Cubs offense been doing a great job here in Philly. It's been warm. 77 for the high on Friday, 67 on Saturday. Then it gets back cold again, 50 on Sunday.
The 3-1. Inside he walked him. And that's about the last thing that Shota wanted to do with an 8-run lead, is walk the leadoff man Turner, but that's what happened. And it brings up Kyle Schwarber.
I tried to come inside with a fastball. Turner didn't chase it. Just missed the corner inside.
We're going to take a look at a little baseball history as we move along. Lefty to lefty now. Schwarber steps in. First pitch, check swing strike. This date in baseball history brought to you by Village of Bedford Park. Village of Bedford Park. In fact, villageofbedfordpark.com. It's time to make history for your business in Bedford Park. Schwarber takes high for a ball. Shota's control not quite as sharp all of a sudden as it has been. Sometimes you see a guy start missing by a wide margin when he's been around the zone on almost every pitch up until now. Here's the 1-1. Driven foul down the right field line and back out of play.
Showed at 84 pitches now. What do we got for baseball history today, partner?
Well, let's see what we've got here. The great Jackie Robinson made his debut for the Dodgers. 1947, that's the most important thing. Baltimore's Memorial Stadium opened, a crowd of 46,000.
Wow.
1954 saw the Orioles beat the White Sox. The Astros beat the Mets in 24 innings on this date in 1968, 1-0. That was the year of the pitcher. Swinging a foul out of play. Bob Gibson had the 1.12 ERA that year. But many pitchers dominated. And then they had to raise the mound, I think.
Right.
Maybe, 3 or 4 inches?
At least, yeah. Might even been a little.
Give the pitchers a little different angle.
No, they dropped it down. That's what
That's
it
what
was.
It was.
High,
That's what it was.
They dropped it down.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I bet that long extra inning game, I bet being the history buff you are, you'd have liked to have done that game.
Sort of. Here's a bouncing ball foul toward first. Yes, but I also like preserving my sanity.
Yeah.
And it gets a little wobbly in about the 20 or 22nd inning.
Sanity's overrated.
Certainly is in this booth. Here's the 2-2. And a toss to first, not in time. The Giants played their first game on the West Coast on this date, 1958, at Old Seal Stadium. Giants beat the Dodgers 8-0. And now the 2-2 pitch. Pop fly foul off the bat of Schwarber. Still 2-2. As the leadoff hitter on this date in 2001, Todd Hollingsworth stepped into the batter's box, and a swarm of bees is discovered on the right field auxiliary scoreboard. After a 9-minute delay, the game starts without incident to the players, fans, or bees. They delayed a big league game 9 minutes for bees. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Shota ends up striking out Schwarber after a lengthy battle. One away in the batter brace, Harper.
Good pitch by Imanaga, right on that outside corner, first out. This inning sponsored by Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that.
I've seen games delayed by gnats and maybe even bees a time or two. Harper the batter, he'll swing and miss. How about you?
I have, yep. There's been some games. Even when I was a kid, we used to go down to Kankakee, and they used to have these, I don't know, we were right by the river, so these bugs that would come out, and they'd be out for like 2 or 3 innings, and then they'd go away.
Swing and a miss, sharp breaking ball. 0-2 on Harper. I might try to come back with that same pitch.
Same pitch, yeah. He's missed both of them by 1.5 feet.
Cubs lead 9-1. Shota to Harper. Lefty against lefty. And here it comes. There was the breaking ball. It just didn't get it close enough to the zone to make it tempting. But he was on that wavelength of staying with that same pitch.
Yep. Shota at 92 pitches. Now Ben Brown now warming up in the Cubs bullpen.
Cubs lead 9-1. We're in the 6th. One away and a man at first. And a pitch to Harper. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Shota gets the strikeout. He is racking them up.
Another great breaking ball by Shota, down and away.
11 strikeouts for Shota. That ties a career high. Thanks to Zach Zaidman for that note. And here's Adolis Garcia. 2 outs and a man at first. Fastball strike.
I'd like to see Shota get one more punch out here in this 6th. I think this is going to be his last inning. That last pitch, number 94 in the game.
And now the 0-1 from the left-hander. Garcia takes inside and may have gotten hit by the pitch. Either that or the ball bounced away from the catcher, Amaya, and it's a wild pitch. And from this angle, Ron, the view that I had looked like it might have hit the ground and came up and hit him in the knee or the thigh, but I guess not.
Yeah, it almost looks like if it didn't, it went right through him sometimes, you know.
1 ball, 1 strike. That is a wild pitch, and that's why Turner advances to second. 2 down in the inning. Cubs lead 9-1. The next pitch swung on and missed. He's had a dazzling splitter in this game. It's one of the better splitters he's had all season long.
Yeah, he's had all 3 pitches working, but the split has been spectacular.
This is reminiscent of many games he pitched in his first season as a Cub 2 years ago. He would just keep throwing that thing one after another, and they just never could figure it out. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball, shallow right there is Shaw to make the catch. Phillies don't score. It's on to the 7th inning. Cubs 9, Phillies 1 on the score in the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Hey, Chicago, this is...
Building sandcastles on the calm seas, looking for a guarantee. Can't get out my own way, I'm playing it safe. I'm holding so tight and choking my grace, leaving no room for mistakes. It's the illusion of control. Can't take it with you when you go. And holding on won't help it grow. Can't take it with you when you go. Might as well learn to lose control. The sun rises and it sets every day without my help. I can just rest assured. Of course, heaven knows best. Every second my heart beats is a reminder there's a creator keeping me safer than the illusion of control. Can't take it with you when you go. When holding on won't help you grow. Help you grow. Can't take it with you when you go. Might as well learn to lose control. Can't take it with you when you go. Might as well learn to lose control. Maybe I can trust and just let go. Learn to lose control. Maybe I can trust and just let.
Tossed the first no-hitter in Brewer history as the Milwaukee beat Baltimore 7-0. That was He's at Old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Bush is out number 1 here in the 7th inning. A very dramatic final out, though. Robin Yount made a sensational diving catch out in right center to take an extra base hit away from Eddie Murray.
Oh, wow, yeah. One Hall of Famer robbed another.
Mm-hmm. And that was during Milwaukee's amazing season opening winning streak, which would reach 12 games, or it may have even reached 13. But that, I think, gave them something like a 9-0 record.
Wow.
Curveball in there for a strike to Dansby Swanson. Cubs out hitting the Phillies 14-3 in their park. Phillies don't experience that all that often.
No, this has been well, the Phillies had a great ball game offensively, pitching everything in game 1, and then the Cubs offense has come alive in games 2 and 3. And this is against the top pitching of Philadelphia. Aaron Nola yesterday and Luzardo today. Cubs did a good job against both of those guys.
Swanson chops it foul. Also note on this date in baseball history, Ron. Again, this date in baseball history brought to you by villageofbedfordpark.com. It's time to make history for your business in Bedford Park. We thank them for sponsoring the baseball history notes. Fastball inside. The late, great Sparky Anderson on this date in 1993 earned his 2,000th victory as a big league manager as his Tigers beat the Oakland A's 3-2. I got to know Sparky a little bit in the American League when I was first a major league announcer. Always nice to me. Always had time. Never rude. And I had great respect for him as a manager. I thought he had great people skills.
Right.
Loved the game. And I've heard more than one guy say, Sparky, if you were not an everyday player, he would take you before the game and say, look, this game, if it goes into the 7th or 8th inning, you're probably going to be facing this guy in the bullpen, so be ready.
That's
And sure enough, that's exactly what would happen. He was looking ahead. He had all kinds of experience. He knew what other managers were doing.
Yeah. And he knew what he had, right? I mean, the key for pinch hitters is to understand your role on that day. And I had to fill that role for the Twins, when I first got in the big leagues, and you would know, where you were going to sit.
Deep fly ball to left. This ball's got a chance off the bat of Dansby Swanson. Long gone. A home run for Dansby. And the Cubs now have opened up a 10-1 lead. A towering drive. Just fair down the left field line. Number 4 for Swanson. And the Cubs are hammering the Phillies in their yard.
Yeah, this ball goes a long way off the bat of Swanson. And the question was fair or foul. It stayed fair by a good, 15, 20 feet, but a bomb by Dansby. His 3rd hit of the ball game.
His 4th homer, his 10th RBI. Now Miguel Amaya will foul it away off to the right. Cubs out hitting these Phillies 15-3. And Shota Imanaga has been very impressive. It's been a great night for the Cubs so far. One more thought about Sparky Anderson, Ron. He did something early in Kirk Gibson's career that I thought was a great managerial move. Kirk was from Michigan State, big football star, All-American, might have been the top pick, and everyone knew he was going to be a great ball player. He hit a ball and jogged to first base.
Yep.
I mean, it was an obvious jog, not even a half sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Sparky Anderson, and the Tigers used to have the third base dugout at Old Tiger Stadium. And the broadcast location was right behind home plate, so you could hear everything.
Yep.
You were afraid of getting hit by foul balls.
Yeah, it was real close. Right.
The booth was just on the other side of the backstop.
Yep.
So I heard exactly, and I'm not going to repeat everything I heard, but Sparky saw Gibson dog it and just jog on a routine ground ball Sparky runs halfway out to the foul line, greets Gibson as he comes back, screaming at him, "Don't you ever do that again, or you will not be playing for me." Don't you? I mean, he was livid.
Yep.
And sure enough, here's the 3-2 pitch, bouncing ball to third, fielded by Bohm. Long throw by the big man is in time, and that's out number 2. But he taught Gibson a lesson, and as far as I know, I don't think he ever dogged it again.
No, I would bet not. Especially that football mentality that he played baseball with. Once that probably happened, that probably was like, okay. And one time I learned,
But I thought that was a great, great move. And you can't do that all the time, and you can't do it to every single player.
Right.
But he just felt the timing was right.
Yeah.
And I thought it was right on the money.
Yeah, worked out pretty good for both of them.
I would say.
Gibby, one of the great players in our era.
Pete Crow Armstrong hits a bouncing ball to second, fielded by Sosa. He'll throw him out to end the inning. Cubs get a run on the home run by Swanson. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the Cubs 10 and the Phillies 1. This is the score, and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs.
You and me is like perfection. I've been loving our progression, but I gotta make a confession. No, lately I've been having questions. Oh, see, I've been missing your affection, and this kind of reminds me of the last one. Maybe it's time I learn my lesson. No, maybe step back from my protection. No, tell me, am I still your baby, or just holding on to memories and the way you used to make me crazy? Or did I do something wrong? Are we still going strong, or you're stringing me along? Then that's my cue. If I have to ask, then I probably already got my answer. But before I commit relationship suicide, tell me a little, reading in between the lines a little. Tell me if we lost the vibe a little. Let's go. Boy, that's my cue. We left it up in the air. I need you to make it clear for me. I need you to keep it real with me. I'm on your mind. I'm ready to pull up on you and show you I want you. Boy, you just do it for me. Even the homie said you suited for me, but now the energy got hazy, Tell me, am I still your baby, or just holding on to memories and the way you used to make me crazy? I can't seem to shake it. I need you here with me naked. Oh, but boy, don't have me waiting. If I have to ask, then I probably already got my answer. But before I commit relationship suicide, tell me a little, reading in between the lines a little. Tell me if we lost the vibe a little. Let's go. Boy, that's my you. Tell me I'm the one, I'm the only one. Something's gotta budge, type of time you want. Tell me I'm the one, or I'm up and gone. Yeah, touching on my body like nobody does. We lock and key every time we link up. Put some pressure on so I know you're mine. 'Cause if I have to ask you one more time, all these questions got me questioning us. Got you out here looking so suspicious. Boy, that's my
Excited with the Cubs. The 1-1. Bounced off the hands slowly to a charging Bregman at third. Bare hands, and throws him out on a sensational play. Wow. One down.
Can't do it much better than that. Bregman comes in on this chopper. It's a kind of a fisted chopper, broken bat, and he comes in on the second hop, bare hands it about knee high, maybe even a little lower, and throws a bullet across the diamond to Michael Busch to get the out.
One away. That's a tremendous play by the third baseman. Here's JT Real Muto He will not bat. Instead, Rafael Marchand. Marchand is going to bat for Real Muto.
First out in this inning is sponsored by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that.
Pitching changes by the Cubs. Sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs. And a quality start by Shota.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Benjamin Moore. Start your next project, Ron, it says here, with quality paints. Just like a quality start from Benjamin Moore, official paint of the Chicago.
And we have a big off day tomorrow. You could pop over to Benjamin Moore and get some quality paints and start one of them projects.
It's nice to have options. Marchand, the batter, he will take a strike in the count 3-1.
Tough plays of the game. We just saw one. And that was a great play by Bregman at third. Sponsored by Loyola Medicine. Loyola Medicine defines tough.
We're going to be getting in a little bit late tonight from Philadelphia. Fly ball to right on the warning track is Shaw making the catch. And Marchand is out number 2. Quality start. Benjamin Moore. Thanks to Benjamin Moore. But Ron, I'm looking at Ben Brown. I just feel like he could play a very important role on this Cubs ball club. He might be a starter at some point.
Yep.
He might be a long reliever. He might be a multi-inning reliever, 2, 3, whatever it requires. Bouncing ball to short. Swanson will throw out the batter, Alec Bohm, and that ends the inning. We'll get your thoughts on that when we come back. It's on to inning number 8. Cubs 10, Phillies 1. This is The Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Covering every Cubs game all season long. Rahimi, Harrison, Grody. Middays 10 to 2 on 104.3 The Score.
WSJ.
10-1 Cubs here in the top of the 8th inning here in Philadelphia. And this 8th inning is sponsored by Cars for Kids. 877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. To donate your car today, Patrick.
A new pitcher in the game for the Phillies. Looks like he is wearing number 42.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can look at our roster. I'll be darned, they're all number 42 today.
Top of your game today, partner.
Jose Alvarado is the new pitcher. And the delivery, it's taken outside for a ball. We used to play that joke on the late, great Ron Santo, though. Every single year we'd get him on it. And sometimes he just wouldn't get certain memos and certain news items that were going to take place in a game. And I don't think anybody ever officially told him that run on Jackie Robinson Day, every single player is going to wear number 42 on their jersey. And invariably, on this date, Matt Bolts is the former producer engineer, and he would say, "Hey, Pat, it's Jackie Robinson Day. Should we?" "Oh, why not?" And about the 6th inning, there'd be somebody warming up in the bullpen, and we would act like we couldn't see who it was. Here's a bouncer toward the middle. It's over the second base bag, gloved by the second baseman, Sosa, and he throws out Matt Shaw. And that's out number 1 in this 8th inning. But we would have Ron get his binoculars, and we would say, "Ronnie, I can't really make out that number of the guy in the bullpen. Can you help me out?" Sure enough, he would put the binoculars up. He would get them focused in. "I believe it's number 42. So we knew who it was, and of course we knew it was 42 before we even asked. And then we figured, well, that'll never happen again. The next year, same exact thing happened. 42. Here's the 1-0 to Nico Horner. Fly ball into right center. It's going to be caught by Garcia, or let's make that Marsh out in center field making the catch. And Nico retired. Nico having a career game. 5 runs batted in. 8 RBIs over the last 2 games, which is, I believe, Zach, some kind of a Cubs record, or it ties a record for a second baseman. 8 ribbies in consecutive games.
Well, no, I think the last guy to do it, to play second base, was Ian Happ before the pandemic back in 2019.
Okay.
I think.
Bregman, the batter, made a sterling defensive play on a slow chopper. He made a barehanded pickup and got his man. Great play earlier. Bregman with a walk and a single offensively. Lots of contributors tonight. Cubs with 3 multi-run innings. They got 3 in the 3rd. Nico Horner had a run-scoring single. There was an error that allowed another run to score, and a wild pitch allowed the 3rd. 2 runs in the 5th on a long home run by Nico Horner, his 2nd of the year. And then the Cubs broke it open with 4 in the 6th inning. A 2-run double by Matt Shaw and a 2-run single by Nico Horner. And now the 1-2. Taken down low for a ball, 2-2.
Yeah, there's some guys in these last 2 ball games. Their averages and their numbers are going up.
Cubs trying to win a series in Philadelphia. It's a hard place to win. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that ends the inning. We go to the bottom of inning number 8. It remains the Cubs 10, the Phillies 1. This is The Score on the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
8888.
April 15th marks Jackie Robinson's historic MLB debut. Robinson's courage and determination in the face of adversity is as much an example now as ever before. Join baseball in commemorating Jackie Robinson Day and visit MLBtogether.com/42 to learn more. Matt, do you want to check the out-of-town scoreboard?
Please, go right ahead, Zach.
That's sponsored by Club Citgo. Download the Club Citgo app. Save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. Games in progress, top of the ninth. Tigers leading the Royals 2-1. Sal Stewart with a pair of 3-run home runs for Cincinnati. Reds leading the Giants 8-3 in the ninth.
Swinging a line drive, caught by Bush at first. One away, Zach.
The first out, sponsored by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price for 5 years. Xfinity, imagine that. Other action. The Angels lead the Yankees 4-3. They're in the bottom half of the seventh inning. The Braves on top of the Marlins 3-0. Last of the sixth. Ozzie Albies with a solo shot. Rays strike first. A 1-0 lead over the White Sox in the top of the fifth. Junior Caminero with a solo home run.
Swing and a miss by number 42 at the plate for the Phillies.
Otto Kemp. Blue Jays on top of the Brewers 1-0. Other action, Astros 2, Rockies 1. They're in the last of the third.
Kemp takes the fastball strike.
And then we got a few finals on the board. The Diamondbacks beat the Orioles 8-5. Adrian Del Castillo, 5 RBIs in the Diamondbacks win. Cardinals beat the Guardians 5-3. Dustin May improves to 2-2 after 6 solid innings. Red Sox beat the Twins 9-5. Trevor Story, a 3-run shot. And the Pirates shut out the Nationals 2-0. Carmen Majinski picks up his first win. Pat?
Zach, thanks for your fine work as always. Here it's all Cubs. Leading the Phillies 10-1, bottom of the 8th inning with 1 away and nobody on. Ben Brown on the mound. Big, tall, 6'5" right-hander with a great arm. Brings it. Here's a drive into right center. On the run, Pete Crow Armstrong. Diving catch. What a play by PCA. The ball slicing away from him. We have a pretty good angle on that play, Ron. What a remarkable catch that was.
Yeah, this ball, Pete lays out, gives it the Superman dive, and he catches this ball mid-flight. Great play by Pete. And that's how you play center field.
That's how you win Gold Gloves. We're going to pause 10 seconds here for stations to identify themselves. As this ball is lined to third, caught by Bregman. Justin Crawford, the batter, will wait until the next half inning to get that station break. This inning is over. We go to the 9th inning. Cubs 10, Phillies 1 on the Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.
Every strikeout and home run is heard right here on 104.3 The Score and the Cubs Radio Network.
nothing. If not, I'll say fuck it and go on my own. Stopping discussions and popping the button. See all of this running will damage your dome. Some of them rocking won't stopping from suffering, not stopping to ask why they back to the bone. Suddenly stubborn, they huffing and puffing and waiting for signs to come back to the home. Building my prophecy, steady shielding democracy. Pressure, feel it on top of me. Repeating monotony.
Suzuki with a couple of hits. Cubs with 15 hits. And there is ball 4. So a position player doing the pitching. Let's see how we did in the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. The actual figure tonight, we are told, 38,254. So a third night of great attendance here in Philadelphia, right around 37,000 last night, a little above, 36,000 on Monday night. So some great audiences and good weather, nice and warm. And Ian Happ gets hit by the pitch. He got hit in the shoulder with about a 45-mile-an-hour pitch.
No, he's not sizzling in there by any means.
I'm not crazy about this. The game deteriorates, quite frankly, when there's a position player on the mound. It becomes something less than big league baseball.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
Here's a bouncer toward third. Charging is Bohm, and his throw to first is in time to get Michael Bush. Yet I understand why teams do it.
Yep.
You run out of pitchers. You want to save some guys perhaps for another game, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
So that's the issue, but I don't know how you can get around it, Ron.
No, I don't either, but it's definitely not a good look for Major League Baseball, that's for sure.
And it distorts the statistical aspect of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
Here is Dansby Swanson taking a floater in for ball 1.
That pitch was 37 miles an hour.
He's just lobbing them in there. Dylan Moore. The next pitch swung on and fouled by Dansby. Whenever a guy's named Dylan, I always think his parents must have been fans of the great Bob Dylan. Here's a bouncer off the glove of Dylan. It will go to the shortstop as a run scores. The throw to first is in time. And the Cubs now lead 11-1 here in Philadelphia. Do you have a favorite Bob Dylan song? I've got all kinds of his music on CDs and cassettes even at the ranch.
There's a lot of them that I like of his. Heaven's Door, Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good one.
Are you familiar with Tangled Up in Blue?
Yep. That's a great song.
I don't know why that was not more popular. Probably because of the length of the song. It's like 6.5 minutes. And back in the day, AM radio wouldn't play a song that long. It had to be
3.5 minutes, right? Something like that.
It had to be, 3. It couldn't be 6.5. But Dylan didn't care. Popped up. Second base, Sosa is going to make the catch. More Bob Dylan discussions in the future. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Cubs 11, Phillies 1. This is The Score in the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network. A little bit closer, 38,083, my guess. The actual figure, 38,254. We'll play it again when we get home for the opener against the Mets on Friday at Wrigley. Please stay tuned for Zach's Old National Bank Cubs radio postgame show. That's the official bank of the Cubs radio network. Kyle Schwarber hits a slow bouncer to second base. Horner will throw him out. One away, bottom of the ninth inning. Big Luke Little is the man on the mound.
Well, he just got called up a couple days ago, and he is in the ball game. Catching the game today, that's sponsored by Catch Des Moines. That play was a real trip, and so is Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours at CatchDesMoines.com.
Bryce Harper, the batter, lefty to lefty. Harper pokes it foul out of play.
I think the catch of the game today's got to be the Pete Crow Armstrong catch last inning, right?
Sure. Great play, right center. Ron, time for you to name the toast of the game ball player presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. It is the ninth inning. Well, lots of candidates.
Oh, my, yes.
No shortage there. Harper looks at a curve low and away, 1-1.
Nico, 3 hits, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored. You've got 2 hits for Suzuki. Swanson had 3 hits with a homer and 3 runs scored and a couple RBIs. Matty Shaw today, 3 straight doubles and an RBI. And then you got Imanaga, who was just lights out today pitching for the Cubs. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and 11 punch-outs.
Harper drives one to deep left. This is going to leave the yard. A long home run. Bryce Harper goes opposite field. The Phillies now trail 11-2. It's Harper's 4th of the year.
Now, one thing about Harper, when he lets that ball get deep on him, he can absolutely crush a ball the other way, and that's a long home run.
So, Ron, who do you like for toast of the game?
I think we're going to have toast of the game guys. One's a pitcher, one's a hitter. Nico Horner has been on an absolute tear. 3 hits, 5 RBIs today with a 2-run bomb. And then Shota Imanaga with a great job pitching with 11 punch-outs in 6 innings, 1 run, and only 1 walk. So those 2 guys are going to be our Benny's Beverage Depot toast of the game ball players.
Good call. Adolis Garcia, the batter. 1 away, bottom of the ninth. Cubs lead 11-2. Garcia will take a strike. Cubs are off tomorrow. Come on out to Wrigley this weekend. Day games beginning at 1:20 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Cubs and the Mets. Garcia takes way outside. The ball getting past the catcher, Amaya. Amaya's done a nice job tonight behind the plate. Total team effort by the Cubs tonight.
Yep.
Putting up a lot of runs against a quality starter like Jesus Luzardo. He's not going to be knocked around the way he was tonight very often.
No, not at all. It's just a great job by the Cubs offense and spraying the ball around the yard, hitting some home runs.
A ball and 2 strikes on Garcia. He takes inside. 2-2. Check with Zach to see that we are all caught up on our inventory. I believe we are.
Yep.
Now the 2-2. It's on the way. A looper foul might be playable. Nope, it's going to land untouched down the right field line. Foul. And we'll do it again.
Pitch by Little in on the hands of Garcia. I thought that might have broke his bat.
Garcia gets back up there, waiting for the 2-2. And he will swing and miss. Strike 3, and the Phillies are down to their last out. Little gets the strikeout. Edmundo Sosa coming up.
Couple good sliders there by Luke Little, down and in to get the punch out.
I am searching my notes and my papers here, trying to find some pitching matchups. Do we know what the matchup is for Friday's opener between the Cubs and Mets? I cannot find it here. There we go. It looks like Edward Cabrera for the Cubs against Kodai Senga for New York. Saturday, Jameson Taillon against Freddie Peralta, the former Brewer, now with the Mets. And then the Sunday finale, Javier Assad and David Peterson, the left-hander, will be the starters. So there you go. All three games start at 1:20. Base hit to left center by Sosa. I'm sure it's not easy, but Ron, you've got to keep playing the game.
Yeah, and you just grind out your at-bats, and that's, like for Harper, you don't give up your at-bats, and he did not, and he got a pitch he could hit and hit one out of here. At the end of the year, you don't want to be giving up at-bats. Every at-bat counts at the end by the time the season's over.
Rafael Marchand, the batter. 2 down, ninth inning. Cubs leading comfortably, 11-2. Marchand takes a strike. The runner at first, Sosa, will not be held. And the next offering by the big lefty, that's going to be a called strike. And now the Phillies are down to their last strike. Still several thousand fans just kind of enjoying this beautiful spring weather. And now the 0-2. Chopped slowly to short, a charging Swanson throws to first, ball game over, and the Cubs win the series here in Philadelphia. Time to fly the W, in fact. Sponsored by Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs. Cubs start to congratulate one another. They lost the opener, came storming back to win these final two, and Ron, it was a very good series for the Cubs.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 here in Philadelphia. You leave Chicago for just a quick 3-game series, and now we get back to Chicago. And, the first game was a little ugly for the Cubs, and then, you talk about turning it on against some really good pitching. Offense, pitching, everything really worked the last 2 ball games, and tonight's about as good a ball game as you can play if you're the Chicago Cubs.
Cubs win it 11-2. Back with the totals right after this on The Score and the Northwestern Medicine Cubs Radio Network.